Nestled high on a hill in the West Midlands, Dudley Castle looks like something straight out of a gothic horror film. And trust me, its history is just as intense. Now, it is a place where centuries of bloodshed, betrayal and heartbreak have soaked into the stone, and where the dead don't seem to really rest quietly. I spent the night exploring its dark towers, shadowy passageways and forgotten dungeons, and what I experienced there, I wouldn't say shook me to my core, but it was a really good night. So, from the chilling legend of the Grey Lady to the monk said to haunt the old chapel, join me as I walk you through the haunted history and share exactly what happened when I dared to pay money and investigate Dudley Castle after dark. Welcome back, everybody, to Spooky Island Radio, yet another episode. And yeah, like I said in the intro, this week it's going to be similar to my New Haven Fort episode where I went ghost hunting, and I'm going to give you a little bit of the history of where I went and what happened to me with some real footage. I was supposed to, a few months ago, I did do some CPD for my nursing job, which meant I got to go to Birmingham for free, and I thought, why not, to a conference, and I thought, why not mix it with a little ghost hunt. And I was staying in Dudley, and obviously the very famous Dudley Castle is right there. And yeah, like I alluded to in my intro, there's said to be a few ghosts. Lizzie, who's this? Lizzie. Liz. Who's this? You come to sit next to me. Just moving that so Lizzie can. Up. Not on there. Not on there. Up. Not on there. And yeah, I remember Most Haunted going here all those years ago. I remember, I think my mum even mentioned it because she was from Birmingham as a child. And yeah, I thought, why the fuck not? Let's combine a trip with CPD, with work, and let's go to Dudley Castle. Yeah, it's alluded to that there's quite a few ghosts that call Dudley Castle home, including a ghostly monk, a father who did something he couldn't live with, which is very juicy. It's very good gossip, and probably the most famous ghost associated with Dudley Castle, and that is the Grey Lady. And like I said, this episode we're going to get into it. I'm going to go through a bit of the history now, go through the ghost stories, and then I'll sort of intermix with some of my footage. I have to say, it was a good place to visit. Not the scariest. A lot of it was outside, so you can't really count a lot of the phenomena you might catch because of external conditions, but it was a great place. It was really good, but I'm jumping ahead of myself. We'll get into that in a bit. Also, it's the hottest day of the year, and my nice 4K webcam, I feel, is going to pick up all the sweat on my head. It's about 32 degrees currently in my flat, and I think that shows how much I love you guys, and how much I love this channel. I'm willing to suffer. But yeah, Lizzie, up. But before we get into the spooky footage, as always, like I said before, let's jump into a little bit of the history of Dudley Castle. Now, perched atop a limestone hill overlooking the town of Dudley in the West Midlands, Dudley Castle has stood for nearly 1,000 years. Its crumbling ruins echoing with sort of tales of nobility, betrayal, warfare. This place has had a lot, and I'm telling you, everything that the British history has, its history is intermingled with this place. Now, the first fortification on the site was likely a wooden Motte and Bailey structure built shortly after the Norman conquest in 1070. It was later rebuilt in stone during the 12th century, but by the De Sommery family, who expanded it into a formidable medieval stronghold. Now, during the 13th and 14th centuries, Dudley Castle was at the heart of regional power struggles. In the 16th century, it passed into the hands of the Sutton family, who transformed parts of it into a sort of Renaissance style residence. Queen Elizabeth I even visited the castle in 1575 during one of her sort of royal progresses, what it was called, or visits basically. But yeah, as you probably guessed, this golden age was pretty short-lived. When the English Civil War erupted in the 1640s, the castle was garrisoned by royalist forces, making it a target for parliamentarian attacks. Now, after a siege in 1646, it was surrendered and deliberately partially destroyed to prevent further military use. And disaster struck again in 1750 when a fire tore through the remaining residential buildings, leaving the castle largely in ruins. Despite this, and we will get a bit back into the fire in a little bit, despite this, the site remained a romantic and atmospheric attraction during the 18th and 19th centuries, drawing visitors who were sort of captivated by its dramatic silhouette and ghostly reputation. And I'll put some pictures that I took, or some pictures of it, because it is quite dramatic as you're driving up to it. It is sort of a real sort sight to see. It's really cool. Now, in the 20th century, the castle ruins became part of Dudley Zoo, established in 1937. The zoo was designed by renowned modernist architect Berthold Lubetkin, something like that. I can't even remember British names, let alone fucking Russian and Ukrainian and shit that I've already done this in the series. And yeah, its grounds incorporated the historic site, including a unique blend of ancient and modern. And today, Dudley Castle stands as a hauntingly beautiful relic of the past, its broken towers and ivy-draped walls whispering secrets from centuries gone by. Its rich and turbulent history, coupled with countless reports of paranormal activity, have cemented its status as one of Britain's most haunted locations. Now, I will fight them on that, because not much happened to me. But hey, they got to draw the punters in, I suppose. But yeah, it does sort of make it an irresistible sort of destination for ghost hunters like myself when you hear claims like most haunted place in the UK, or one of. And it also, it draws in history buffs and curious visitors alike. But yeah, on to some of the ghost stories. Now, the investigation itself, or from when I first got there, was really good. So we went right up to the top where the castle is, through the zoo and stuff. And for the first 45 minutes, someone who worked at the zoo but also worked for the ghost hunting companies took us on a bit of a tour while it was still light, telling us about the ghost stories and stuff. So I'm going to take you on that little trip with me. So down, the first place he took us was just out. It's like outside the castle walls, and it's like the caretaker's residence. It's like this old building, and there is footage in the dark with me around it later. But the story goes here that he was telling us is that years and years and years ago, when it was more of a they kept themselves to themselves, they liked their own, they wouldn't go down and mingle with the people of Dudley because they were the commoners. They didn't like that. So this man and his wife had two daughters. Now, one of the daughters, when she reached of age, she decided she wanted more. So she headed down secretly out in the middle of the night, met up with one of the commoners, formed a relationship, and soon enough she was preggers. Now, obviously back in the day, out of wedlock, big no-no, but also to the dad with one of the commoners, also a big no-no. And it said that one night he took his daughter, who was pregnant, to the outhouse and murdered her. Can't remember whether they said, whether he shot her or whether he just hung her or something like that. I can't remember. Basically, took his daughter out to the shed and killed her. Unable to live with what he'd done, he then hung himself in the first story window. The first floor of this building that he lived in. And they said back in the 90s there was a whole load of people who would take photos and they would see a man's face up against the window, which was impossible because it was in a state of disrepair in the 90s and there was no floor. So it was like ground floor, second floor, there was nothing in between, but people would see a man stood at the window. Crazy. Spooky as well. Actually spooky. But what a bastard. But then also, well, who knows? Different times, I suppose. But that's one of the stories, and there is footage of me around there later. Just nearby there also, we're still outside, there is apparently the ghosts of monks seen walking. Now, one of the big clues here is they don't interact with people, so it's not like an intelligent haunting, which makes me think that it's more like stone tape theory. So people see these monks walking through the grounds and down the steps towards the zoo, but obviously it wasn't always a zoo, but they don't interact with people. So to me, and there was a monastery, but not there at that location, but somewhere else nearby. So was this like where they usually walk? Is this just a replay? So stone tape theory, for those of you that don't know, is where energy is captured basically by the stone, by the limestone, by the rock around us, and sometimes it replays apparently, and this is what people think ghosts could be. So that's another thing. There's also, then we looked up towards the tower, and you can actually get to the top, and again there is footage of me at the top in the pitch black about 1 a.m. The story is there was a woman who was telling us, and her brother had some sort of part in the castle, worked there, lived there, I can't remember, it's something like that, but she was a healer back in the day, and obviously we know what healer means. It means dependent woman. So he said she was doing something like helping people out with money or making her own coins, which was illegal, which was treason or whatever it was called, or she wasn't doing that, and then the brother made up that she was, and basically they killed her and her cat apparently by throwing them off the battlements to their death. So that's apparently another ghost. Spoiler alert, I did not see the ghost or her cat, sadly. I would love to see a ghost cat, like a little ghost Lizzie. But yeah, the main ghost associated that you've probably heard of with Dudley Castle is the Grey Lady. So the Grey Lady is believed to be a lady called Dorothy Beaumont. And also there's like a little drummer boy scene which is sort of integrated to her story as well, which we'll get to in a minute. But it is generally theorised that the Grey Lady, like I said, is Dorothy Beaumont. She once lived at the castle and died there at a time of siege during the English Civil War in 1646. Now, she was married to second in command of the Royalists that occupied Dudley Castle, and they had a son who was not very well and not really meant for this world. He was taken away from her after childbirth, where he passed away. But so they told her that your son has passed away. Oh no, wait, am I getting the story wrong? Yeah, so the son passed away, and they told Dorothy, and she didn't believe them. She thought that they were keeping her child from her, and she would walk the grounds looking for him, and like depressed, you would call it in these days. And after about a year, within that year, it said that she accepted that her child had died, and her last dying wish, because she wasn't very well herself, was to be buried with her child, and that her husband should attend her funeral. And sadly for Dorothy, neither of these came true. So the child was buried about a mile away, in a cemetery or a graveyard, and basically they were under siege when Dorothy died. So what happened was, and this is what the guy told us, she died and they couldn't get her body to the graveyard. So apparently some soldiers went down from the castle, or got word to the people who had them under siege around the outside, the parliamentarians, and said, look, such and such has died, can we please, it was her last dying wish, this is a really important person to us, can we please bury her with her child? Or something like this anyway. And they sort of agreed to a truce, like a couple of hours truce, where they could take her body, bury it with her child. And something strange happened. There was I think the little drummer boy went down and spoke to them, and they agreed to it. Little drummer boy is walking back up to give the news, or it's something like that, or the other way around. No, the little drummer boy must have come, I don't know. Anyway, long story short, little drummer boy, for the parliamentarians, so the people sieging, is shot dead by accident, and the truce is then off. Basically, this is what I remember anyway. A good few weeks ago. So the little drummer boy is apparently seen there as well. I do a vigil to try and sort of capture evidence of him later on, which will be in this video, obviously. Basically, truce was off. Instead of multiple people being able to go, 2 soldiers had to carry her body to the graveyard. Of course, they didn't know where her child was buried, so they sort of dumped her in just a normal grave that they dug really quickly. And the husband wasn't there for fear of assassination, so none of her wishes came true. So she wasn't buried next to her child, and her husband didn't attend her funeral. And is this why her ghost has been seen? Is Dorothy Beaumont the Grey Lady? That is the $1 million question. Now, that's the ghost stories associated with the place. Let's talk about my experience now. So it was a really good night. Again, I went by myself because I'm Billy No Mates, got no mates. Although I have to say, Lizzie is coming ghost hunting with me. It might even be out soon, sometime in October, the video. But I'm going to a location and the cat is coming with me, so look out for that. It's going to be a really good episode. And yeah, if she starts hissing at something I can't see, I'm going to fucking run out of the place. But yeah, so on this occasion, again, I was there by myself. And the team, I went with a team called Haunted Happenings. They were really good. Like, the people running it were really fun, but stern, but like, you know, kept everybody in line. They allowed us to have enough time off by ourselves to capture some footage. I felt like a real, like, paranormal investigator when I was walking around with my camera, like, on my little tripod thing. It was felt good. But yeah, so I'll put up a little bit of footage of me walking around the castle. Why can't I say castle? I'm sort of getting a lisp. Walking around the castle. And I apologize again for the sound quality. It will be sorted by the time I go ghost hunting again, so that's in a few weeks' time. So yeah, just stick with me. But yeah, I'll put in some footage of when I first sort of, before the vigil started. And yeah, here it is. Now, the next sort of bit of footage you're going to see is from the group that I was put in. We sort of went to this. I can't remember what part of the building it was, but it was quite spooky. Sort of walked in, it was all brick, it was all stone, and we were doing like a Ouija board sort of planchette sort of session. So it was me and a few others, and this other guy who was by himself. And I think we caught some light anomalies. So again, in a minute, I'll just explain what sort of happened, and then I'll show you the footage. But yeah, I have to say, this guy who's there by himself, he's a little annoying. I don't know whether he liked the sound of his own voice or what. He liked to be the centre of attention. But we basically started up this Ouija board session, and it's sort of moving a little bit. The glass is moving a little bit, not much. And then all of a sudden it starts moving. I'm like, okay, someone must be pushing this surely. And then he was like, are you here with anybody? And he went like, shum, like to him. So okay, here we go. And then he was like, do I know you? Or something like that. And then he sort of spelt out a name. It went to yes. Spelt out a name. I can't remember the name. It was like Sarah or something. He's like, I know who this is. It's someone that I met at a previous location, and she's been following me ever since. I was like, okay. And he was like asking it questions, and he was getting direct responses. And I mean, I don't want to be that person, but like, you're just wasting everybody's time if you're fucking faking it. So always, because I'm, both sides, I believe and don't believe. I said, you say she's followed you for 3 locations? He was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, think of the second place in your head and take your hand off the glass. Now ask her if she can spell out where the second place was that she follows you. And if we spell it out and we don't know where it is, then it's real evidence. I don't know. But shocker, took his finger off and the glass didn't move. It moved a little bit, but it was like, where was the second location you met me? Nothing. Could have been anywhere. And yeah, I sort of felt a bit mean for calling him out a little bit on it. But also like, we're all here, don't just take the piss. And then he was like, oh, she must be upset that I'm not like got my finger on the glass anymore, that's why it's not moving. I was like, no, it's not moving because you're fucking pushing it, mate. But yeah, he was a nice guy. It's just like, shut the fuck up, like, it's not her. But I have to say, during this time also, there was some knocks and bangs around us. So I decided to put my night vision camera around the corner. So I'll play some of that footage now. And there is a guy sat in the corner who's like one of the team, like basically making sure we're not doing anything we shouldn't be. So ignore him. And yeah, I'll play some footage, see some light anomalies, and hear some noises. What do you think? Do you think that orbs and light anomalies are the sort of the beginning of a ghost manifestation? Me, I'm not too sure. I can take it or leave it, but it's nice to capture some of them. But there was quite a lot in that footage, I think you'll agree. And yeah, there were some noises coming from that area, so who knows? What do you think? Do you believe orbs are the start of a ghost manifestation? Let me know in the comments below. And like, subscribe, all that nonsense. I haven't even said that yet this episode. So yeah, if you are enjoying this episode, like, subscribe, and help me get to that magic 100 subscribers. Now, moving on. Yeah, I'll put in some funny footage of me climbing the tower. It was a literal spiral staircase of brick, no handrail, no nothing. And don't ask me why, but I climbed to the top of it to see the view out over Dudley. It's what they talk like in Dudley. And yeah, I was huffing, puffing when I got there. It was a really nice view, and it was nice because it was quite humid, so it was nice to get a bit of a breeze. Again, I'll put some footage up. But lo and behold, I get to the top, and who's there? Knobhead from the previous vigil. I mean, he was doing some Dawson rods, let the boy be. And like I say, he's nice enough. I sort of set up camp there, again, only for a few minutes because he sort of went down and left me up there by myself. And I was like, oh, isn't this pretty? And then I thought to myself, hang on a minute. If something happens here, like I hear something or I see something, I can't get down those steps quick, because it's a spiral staircase. I will fall and die. I don't know how people did it in the olden days, like an archer running up and down those stairs in full armor. Don't know how they did it. Now, I ventured down, like I say, from the top of the tower right down to the bottom of the tower, to see that the man's murder house, and sort of where the monks and the little drummer boy is seen. I'll put some of the footage in there in the background now, just while I'm talking over it, because I didn't really catch anything. I wish I did, but yeah, there was just too much going on because it's an outdoor location. Like, you could hear the owls like down the bottom hooting. There was still people that I could hear walking up and down, that were part of the team. So it was nice to walk around and have that. But yeah, I need to go to more locations which are, inside for starters, and that you can sort of close off sections and really do a proper paranormal investigation, which is what happened in one location. Like I said before, I teased you with it that I think I've caught something. So from there, I went to the Undercroft, it's called, which is misleading because it's still above ground. It's just this basically brick hall sort of thing. And I went and sat in there by myself. I was surprised nobody else was in there because it was quite said to be an active spot. So set up my tripod, set up my camera, and started asking out. Turned out all the lights, but not my torch because I was a little bit scared. I need to get braver. But I think I did catch something. Well, I'll put some of this footage in now, and you'll see at a certain point I ask, "Is anybody there? Is anybody here with me?" And I think I hear a woman, like, sort of thing. I have to try and up the volume in post. But tell me what you think. Here we go.
Are there any spirits in here with me? Can you make all my machines go off? Make it beep. experiencing him living.
I mean, what do you think? I mean, I put my headphones on and I listened to that afterwards in post, and I was like, I think that's something. Also, I feel like you can hear footsteps before it as well, and there's nobody around me. So yeah, so hopefully you heard them too. What do you think? Did I just catch an EVP? Like, is that something? And that's what I love about the paranormal, right? All these people with these shows where it's like, it's a demon, like all this stuff is happening, like everything's going crazy, things are getting knocked over, knives are getting thrown. I'm like, that is not it. That is not the paranormal. Like, to me anyway, what I've seen, it's more little things like this, and I'll take little things like this from an entire 6-hour investigation. The fact that I might have heard a couple of little footsteps when there's no one around, and possibly an EVP, and some light anomalies, I will take it, because it wouldn't be fun if you didn't have to hunt for it. It wouldn't be fun if you didn't have to have these gadgets to try and help you capture it. If you walked in and seen something and heard something all the time, why bother? Like, so I really enjoyed it. Now, the last bit of footage is just me sat outside on the bench waiting for them to call us in at 2 o'clock to do like a close down of the evening. And yeah, I was sat on the bench just calling out, and all of a sudden the cat ball starts going off. And then the REM pod that I've got starts to just tap a little bit, like something was trying to come through. But yeah, I'll put that footage here. Um, yeah, and my final thoughts of the evening were really cool place, really nice people running it. Can't recommend Haunted Happenings enough. I'm booked on with them again next month with the people from work. So that should be good to look out for that as well. And yeah, we sort of had a little wind down of the evening, and then I got a lift back literally to the bottom of the hill and to my hotel. And yeah, where I went to sleep watching Judge Judy. I mean, is that not just goals? Ghost hunting, then Judge Judy. What more can a guy want? But yeah, what do you think? Do you think I captured anything? Do you think you'd like to go to Dudley Castle? What do you think, if anything, I caught? Yeah, and that's it for another week. So thank you again for joining me. And next episode, I'm not sure what it is, but it's not Hale Van Og. I think it is, celebrity ghost stories. So yeah, you wanna stick around for that one. I think I've got ghost stories from Robbie Williams, Lily Allen, Kim Woodburn, RIP, and others. So yeah, so tune in for that. Thank you all for listening. If you've enjoyed this, like, subscribe, all that shit that YouTubers say. Thank you for listening and watching, and yeah, we'll see you on the next one. And remember, the island is always watching. Bye.